Hattons haven't gone down the route of just using generic ends and sides. They have actually tooled up 9 different separate coaches here. They are so nicely done. Hi there to you. I hope I find you well. It's really great to see you. Welcome back to Weir Yard in the Loft here with me, Jennifer Kirk. And we've got something really special for you today. I'm really grateful to Hattons, who have lent me the engineering prototypes of the Project Genesis pre-grouping coaches. Now, this is a wonderful project. We've been following this on the channel since it was announced by Hattons, and I'm really pleased to be able to take a really good close look at these models and also get them running on Weir Yard. Now, they are engineering prototypes, so they're not in a livery. They're kind of in the bare metal and plastic that they're made from, but it gives you a really good view at how these coaches go together, what they look like, and I'm really looking forward to seeing the finished items. So come with me and I'll take you on a tour of these wonderful models in association with the channel sponsor Trainomatic, makers of DCC decoders and accessories. For so long now, we've had a plethora of pre-grouping locomotives in pre-grouping liveries. They do seem to be incredibly popular and they sell very well. And it is so great to finally see a manufacturer bringing out models that are suitable to go with them at long last. Hattons have been very generous in allowing me to review some of the Project Genesis engineering prototypes. As I said to you in the introduction, these are in the plastic and primer and bare metal that they come from the factory. The purpose of the engineering prototypes is to be able to check that everything is as it should be. It's very clearly able to look at the detail, see how everything works. And I'm really grateful to have been given the opportunity to be able to run these up here on Weir Yard. So I'm just going to lay out the ones that have come over, and of course, as I said in the introduction, the idea behind these is to produce a generic feel of a pre-grouping coach, and then it can be put out in a whole host of different liveries. So from the top of my head, from memory, we've got announced South Eastern and Chatham Railway, Midland Railway, London and North Western Railway, Great Central Railway, Lancashire and Yorkshire Railway, and we've also got the big 4 liveries too, so Southern Railway, LNER, Great Western Railway, and we've got as well coming in some of the later ranges, NCB coaches, because of course these coaches were very long lasting. Once they were cascaded from frontline service, they could be seen in more rural backwaters. Occasionally they were used as additional coaching stock for summer holiday traffic, and indeed they'd be sold on to smaller backwater railways. The NCB used them for miners' trains, and British Rail as well. Yes, they did last that long. They used them as support coaches for breakdown cranes, and indeed photos do exist of some of these in departmental liveries right through into, I believe, the early 1980s. So even if you model BR Blue tops number diesels, there is room in your collection for some of the models that Hattons are bringing out. And I've really got my eye on some of those as well. I am a sucker for olive green engineers department liveries. So really looking forward to them. I keep jokingly saying I need to sell a kidney because I think I am going to be buying so much of this range. And I guess a lot of you guys as well after this video will be thinking much the same, because what I've seen so far is truly really amazing. So we've got the full brake 6-wheel, and we've got the brake with compartments and the 6-wheel coach, and then we've got the full first and third compartments on the 6-wheel. And these 6-wheel coaches, I have to say, are the ones that really caught my eye. They just have this very pre-grouping charm to them. They're a very distinctive look, and what immediately stands out to me is the profile of the wheels. Quite often on models you see a kind of generic wheel getting fitted, and it kind of detracts from the whole aesthetic of the model. But with this, I can see there, and this engineering prototype really shows it up well. We've got those sort of solid wooden centres to these wheels, just like you see on some of the few pre-grouping coaches that have survived intact with their wheels on, because of course a lot of these coaches did get sold on for use as sheds, bungalows as well down on the south coast. What they used to do is remove them from the underframes and sell the coach body, and people would make them into chalets, bungalows, and that's actually how a lot of these coaches have managed to survive into preservation. And if you go to a great many preserved railways, places like the Bluebell line in particular, you can see these running. You can actually ride in these too, so even suitable for modern preservation era models too. Now I'm going to move some of these out of the way, and let's have a look through these one at a time. I will also say Hattons have told me these have been prodded and poked by a great many people before me. I'm kind of down at the bottom of the tree, and I am ever so grateful for having been given the opportunity to look at these. But if you do see anything you think that looks bent, or oh, there's a scratch there, that will not be on the actual production models. That is simply because a variety of magazines, media people, and also Hattons themselves, making sure that everything is as it should be, have been going over these. So I've got them after all that's gone ahead. So do remember that when you look at these. And if you think, oh, that looks bent, that isn't what the finished model is going to have. What immediately strikes me with these is the running boards and underframe really is exquisite. And the centre axle, this, I think I did an interview with Hattons when they first announced these coaches, and I did bring up the centre axle on the 6-wheel coaches because other manufacturers have taken on 6-wheel chassis with a variety of success or not, as the case may be. And it's the one area that concerns modelers. And I'm really intrigued by the method that Hattons have used. The entire frame with the W-irons and the springs has a degree of lateral movement. And it's really smooth actually, and it's well in there, and I'm pulling on that wheel set and it doesn't want to come out. It really does look like that is going to go around corners quite well. Now we are going to run these on wear yard, and I'm going to put them through their paces, through point work, double slips, so we will see how these perform. But I have got every faith actually with that. That does seem to be a really good design to get around this problem of a rigid 6-wheel chassis on model railway curves. Now the couplings are slimline tension locks, and they are in pockets, and I can feel the springs aren't working in there, but that is of course something that will be sorted on the production models. These running boards as well, I know some people get very worried about the fragility of bits and pieces like this, and I can show you that these are really on there very firmly. There is no risk of these running boards getting damaged. They're made of what appears to be etched metal, and they're folded and screwed on just underneath there and there, so they are very robust. The rest of the brake gear's on here as well, and again, I'm really impressed with all of that. The detail that's gone in here is really sublime. The buffers on these aren't sprung, and to be honest, it doesn't really bother me at all. They are turned brass, and of course that does show up very, very well on the engineering prototype. And then both ends of this coach are actually different as well. And again, we have a wealth of separately applied detail. And given the prices that Hattons are looking to bring these out, 4 packs from, I think it's £110, which will give you 4 different coaches all in the same livery to make up a ready-made train, or separately for just over the £30 mark, I think it is. There is a huge amount of detail on here. We've also got flush glazing in there, and the interiors too are really well detailed. Now, I've been told that there are some of these coaches that I can actually open up and show the detail on the interior. So I'm just going to... I will check, actually. I'm frightened of causing any undue damage. They did say that 2 of the coaches we can't get inside, but the other coaches I can show you the interior. So I'm going to open this up and let's have a look at the inside. I'm told that these just clip on. Oops, there we go. It does just unclip out. The finished coaches will be available with a lighting option. There are a couple in this set which I've been told do have lighting, which can be shown. But I'm looking down there, we've got a full interior. We've even got the toilet compartments there, I think they are. Gosh, and these luggage racks too, really, really nice. And this does mean that I think there's going to be a steady market for Victorian period people sat down to be able to fill out these coaches. Really liking that. And I love the ease with which you can get into these coaches as well to be able to fit people. And this whole interior is of course going to be finished, so it's not going to be in this grey plastic that you see on the samples. Both ends, as I alluded to, are different. We looked at that end. This end, I do like these steps as well. Very characteristic of these pre-grouping coaches. Really, really nice. So let's put that to one side. I will also actually quickly highlight some of the detail on the roof. Is really nice. Again, it's all separately applied detailing, which does show up really well on the engineering prototypes. Let's put that one to one side. I'm going to look now at one of the 4-wheel coaches. Just looking in there, I think that this one as well, we can take the roof off. So again, we've got the compartments. Luggage racks are really nice pieces in there. And it's so easy to be able to fit these with passengers, actually. I love how easy these roofs come off to gain access to the inside. If any of you have ever tried to dismantle coaches before to do that, sometimes it can be quite an art form. Again, we've got the really, really strong running boards on these, and again, correct profile wheels. You see there we've got flat-faced 3-disc, which is a different type of wheel from that one that we showed you before. So got some really lovely variety with these. Again, we've got the turn metal buffers. The couplings on this, actually the springs, again, I think they've been, it does self-center actually on this one. But as I said before, just to remind you, these have been prodded and poked by a variety of people and magazines as well. So I think I'm last in the tree. So any damage that you've seen is because of that, and it's nothing to do with the model production. The other joy of the engineering prototypes as well is that if Hattons identify anything that they're not happy with, that can still be corrected at this stage. Indeed, that's what the EPs are actually for. So I'm looking into this one. I think that it's quite difficult to tell. Is this one with... They have told me there's 2 that I mustn't take the roofs off because they're fitted with lighting. So actually, we've seen the interiors of those 2. I'm not going to risk any more. But again, we've got another 4-wheel coach here, exquisite underframe. This is without the running boards, and we've also got a different roof tooled up there as well. So we've got these kind of oil lamp pots on the roof. I think this one has got electric lighting. So there's such a variety that they've tooled up. They might be generic coaches, but they're still able to represent so many different prototypes. and I'm really looking forward to seeing the actual livery samples. Hattons have sent over a number of 3D renders and pictures of the liveries, and we're going to show a few of those now. Hattons did very kindly send some high quality renders of these, and they do look exquisite. I'm really looking forward to the actual liveries. Now I've got here now the full brake. I think this is one that's going to have a lot of mileage in the range, because these did tend to survive as staff riding vans, as packing carriers for breakdown trains. And there is actually on the internet somewhere a photograph of, I think it might have been one of these in blue-grey livery. Yes, one coach at least got as far as 1971 and did get blue-grey, and I'd love to see Hattons produce a version of that. I think a blue-grey one of these would be the icing on the cake for me. It was part of a cinema demonstration train, and I think it was in use as a generator van. On the six-wheel coach, again, we've got that really nice sliding mechanism. It's so silky smooth, it has to be said. Again, the running boards, I'm really impressed with these running boards. They're so strong and yet scale thickness, and it just shows how good the choice of materials is on this. I do also like these guard duckets. Again, captured the profile of that so well. And we've got a different style of roof from the other six-wheel coach there. I'm just going to bring in as well, there's yet another style of roof. Each one of these coaches incorporates such subtle differences. I really do like that. The duckets as well, different positions on these. I really do like the level of detail, and we've got all that paneling in there has been reproduced so well. It does show up very well on these EPs. I'm looking at that against the light. We've got separately fitted handrails, and it just works so well. Gosh, it looks like you could even just turn those handles and open the doors. Really impressed. And you can see as well there, actually, the detail on the sole bars. Really nicely done. Are the sole bars all different? Not entirely sure. No, they look to be the same. The production models will have an option to have DCC ready lighting, and I think it's a Next 18 decoder that they'll take. But as these are EPs, I can't take the roof off this one. I've been told not to, so I can't explore the DCC fitting on these, but it'd be interesting to see how these work on the layout. Again, we've got that really smooth action on that center axle. These ones don't come with the dropped footboards, but we've still got all of that amazing detail, and I particularly like the oil lamp pots on the roof. The previous one there is rigged for electric lighting, so we're getting some really great variety. The door handles as well are really nicely done. You can see they're all separately applied detail. You can see down there how nicely that is put together. And we've got as well really nice relief on the paneling. That's going to look amazing when we get these with liveries on. Now, this particular coach that I've got in my hands here, this one, I am really looking forward to some of the livery options on this. As a full brake, these were actually probably one of the most longest lasting of the coaches, and they lasted right through until early 1980s. I believe there was at least one example left, and they got used as riding vans, packing vans for some of the breakdown cranes. So it is amazing that some of these lasted nearly 100 years, and you can imagine the different livery options. Hattons have announced departmental liveries, and I think there's at least one olive green option. I think this is going to be the coach that for a lot of people who model even into the BR Blue Tops era is going to be very applicable for some of those engineering liveries. Again, we've got those really robust footboards. We've got the detail on the underframe that matches up with this coach, and I do like these duckets as well. And you can see the ducket there with the little windows on the side. They really are nice. Again, we've got the different applicable roof torpedo vents, really nicely done. And that panelling, actually, that's really going to show off some of the kind of wooden panelling effects really, really nicely. I think the Great Northern Railway ones have a kind of a teak or a mahogany finish, maybe even the South Eastern and Chatham Railway perhaps. So really, really looking forward to seeing the livery samples on these. This is the composite brake. So we've got a passenger compartment, and then we've got the guards compartment again with those ducats. Lots of separately applied detail, and this is actually a really nice one as well. Those door handles look so good. You could actually almost imagine that they turn and open the door. Really, really nicely done. I do like the metal grab handles and those very, very small windows there that are completely clear. It's not really showing up on the camera, but I can look through there with my naked eye. And that is really, really nice. This is with the electric lighting as well. So these two are electric. That's gas, and as a full brake, I guess that wouldn't have had lighting. So there is a bit of a variety here. It's really, really nice. The four-wheel coaches do have a different profile wheel. That is immediately apparent, and really do like that. Just looking in there, I can't see any lighting, so I think this is one that I can remove the roof. Yeah, that's coming off. And again, we've got the appropriate setting out of compartments in there. I do love these luggage racks. And I think that there's a lot of companies on the market that do 3D printed figures. And I think that there's going to be quite a good market for them to produce figures to go in these, especially the Victorian, Edwardian period. Underframe detail, really nicely done. Again, we've got those really robust running boards. I like these wheels. They've got a really prototypically correct face. Now, I've seen from other manufacturers, sometimes you get almost like a deep tread on that front face, and it really detracts from the look of the wheels, but we've not got that there. The front face is prototypically correct, and it kind of hides the fact that these will have slightly wider tread through being a model. Again, they're pretty nice and free running. All that brake detail is there as well. Flush glazing, everything else is as per some of the other coaches there. So I'm just going to put that in. That's electric lighting on the roof. This one is the four-wheel brake composite, and with torpedo vents, no sign of lighting on this one. So we've got, I think every single one of these has a different designed roof, so we've got a great deal of variety for in the trains. I really am loving these, and I particularly like this kind of lookout at the end. Now I've just caught that, that's my fault, that but this will this is really, really nice, and you can imagine having the guard in there peering out, maybe have a little kid hitching a ride and manage to blag a ride in the back looking out through those windows. I just love the design on these, and it's got that characteristic sort of top-heavy style look that the pre-grouping carriages tended to have. Really, really nicely done. I'm just looking in there. That again looks to be another one that's fitted with lighting. So they've told me not to take the roof off, and I think that's basically because it being the engineering prototype, it isn't as it will be when finished. So bear that in mind when we show these running, that these are a prototype for evaluation. And we've got the final four-wheel coach. This again is one without the running board. Really is nice, and I can see these really, really going down well. This one's rigged up for gas lighting or oil lamps there on the roof. Very, very characteristic pots they actually had for this. And you can see if you go to Shildon at the Railway Museum outpost there, they do have some pre-grouping coaches that still have these pots on the roof. So you can actually go and see the prototypes. And again, everything is finished as expected for these. So we've looked through all of these. I'm really impressed with the detail that's gone into them, and amazing value as well. They're going to be sold as 4-packs, which will include 4 different coaches all in the same livery, so you can instantly make up a train, and they give you some great value at, I think it's £110. And they will also be sold singly, and the single coaches will have different running numbers to the ones in the 4-packs. You can add to a rake, and I think that I can certainly see some of the liveries in particular proving to be immensely popular, and I'll make it known now that I'm really looking forward to, in particular, I want to order London, Brighton and South Coast, and of course South Eastern and Chatham Railway livery. There will be others. I think Great Central, which is in one of the later waves that are coming out. I really do want them, and of course departmental ones as well. And please Hattons, consider doing that blue-grey one that that's in that photograph that's doing the rounds. Really would love to see that, and we'll definitely buy that. And I know it's really annoying for manufacturers. People go, oh yeah, you should do that, I'll buy one. But I can't imagine that I'd be alone on that. Running characteristics of these coaches is pretty good when you consider that they are still engineering prototypes. The coach that had working lights flickered a bit as it went round the layout, but I've been warned that it does this. This is not how it will appear in the finished product, and this is just because this is an engineering prototype as a proof of concept of getting the lighting all working. When the coach was stationary, you could see just how well it illuminated the interior, and once those interiors are fully finished, coloured, and hopefully as well, if you've got the mind to do it, adding in some seated passengers, everything will be really nicely visible. And I can see that the internal lighted versions being really popular. Those 6-wheel chassis actually coped with some of the tight corners really well. They went through point work without any hint of derailing, and I had them running for somewhere over an hour without any serious issue. Now, I've been through and I've photographed every single side of this vehicle under some quite harsh light, and you can see the detail really brought out. They are so nicely done, and the wealth of different details between the different coaches is actually quite astounding when you put it together. Hattons haven't gone down the route of just using generic ends and sides and kind of making it fit, fudging it in the ultimate livery application. They have actually tooled up 9 different separate coaches here, and I'm actually really impressed that they've gone to so much trouble for what, albeit is a generic representation of a pre-grouping coach. It captures so many of the tropes of the pre-grouping 4- and 6-wheelers so well. I can think of a wealth of railway companies that Hattons could go on and produce examples for, and I think that these really are going to go on and be a staple of the range for a long time to come. And I think so many layouts and collections are going to have room for even a few of these coaches, and it's only the most hardened of modern image modelers who might shun these, but really, how can you withstand their charms? I so look forward to the livery examples of these, and to see just how some of those ornate pre-grouping liveries really do look in the flesh. I have to say that I've had these coaches on the layout now for all of the day. It's the first time I've ever been sent a review sample where I received them just after 9 o'clock in the morning, and I'm still here at 7 o'clock at night, and I've had them running. It's given me an excuse to get out so many different pre-grouping locomotives and have a good time, and I'm just really still thrilled at the amount of detail that are on these models, and that each one is subtly different from the next. So I think these are going to be a surefire model of the year for 2021. Hattons have told me that they're looking for probably a Q2 release for the first batch in the shops that you can buy them, so you do have a bit of time to save up. But I warn you now, they are addictive, and I've been going through the ones that are listed on their website, and it's going to become expensive. So Hattons, if you're watching this, if you just let me know who I signed the house over to, then we'll be grand. I'm needing a few of these. But until next time, don't forget to like this video and importantly share this on social media to let other people know about what we've been seeing here today with these Project Genesis coaches. And if you haven't already done so, do please subscribe to the channel and then you'll be the first to know about new videos as and when they go up. And we've also got a link down below that takes you straight to the Hattons website to be able to order any of the announced livery options from Hattons. And like I say, some of these are going to sell out really quick. My expectation is that if you want South Eastern and Chatham Railway, London, Brighton and South Coast Railway in particular, those two are going to sell out ever so quickly. So do get your pre-orders in. That said, I think some of the other liveries are going to prove extremely popular and we could see a few sleeper hits amongst the departmental liveries too. But it's been really great fun showing you over these samples. Don't forget to take really great care of yourself and I look forward to seeing you again. So take care, see you later, happy modelling. Today's video is sponsored by Train-O-Matic, makers of DCC decoders designed to be fully compatible with every manufacturer's locomotive. Visit train-o-matic.com to browse the full range and see what they've got suitable for you. I'd like to send out a huge thanks to everybody who supports me on Patreon, and an extra special huge thanks goes out to Anthony Kidson, Michael Churchwood, Anthony Hunt, William Wade, Wayne Johns, Offshore Allen, oorail.co.uk, Tepic, Michael Lockie, Helen Sink, Peter Bolton, Brian Smith, Brian and Dorothy Mudd, Gary Lewis, David Quinn, Trish Bits, Sparky 107107, George Botterini, Andy Finch, Chris Moss, Robert Sears, MD of San Juan Model Company and Grant Line Products, Sam Yates, and Dale Williams. Thank you. Without you guys, I couldn't do this.